The Wyomissing Industries included three companies: Textile Machine Works, Berkshire Knitting Mills, and Wyomissing Corporation, or what used to be called Narrow Fabric. And Narrow Fabric was a manufacturer of braided fabric, all sorts of different braids, a lot of ornamental braids and a lot of others. Wyomissing Polytechnic Institute, as I mentioned earlier, was a joint institute for the three industries, and actually a lot of other people from around the community. And if you look at the industrial leadership in Berks County, even though unfortunately industrial leadership is declining, there are a tremendous number of companies that are run by ex-WPI people like Doug Height at Kima and others. The Wyomissing Polytechnic gave a very, very solid technical training program in conjunction with the apprentices. So people did their apprenticeship for a couple of months, then they went to school for a couple of months, and they went back to their apprenticeship and what have you. And that institution got into a point where it was really difficult for the industries to maintain it as an independent institution, and so the thought was, well, what's a good alternative? And the concept was, maybe we could get Penn State interested in establishing a campus in Berks County, and have them pick up the academic training and the teaching, but continue to offer the technical courses that were needed. And so Penn State was approached and decided that they would be interested. After Penn State Berks was operating in Wyomissing for a while, I'm not quite sure what happened in terms of the pressures for expansion, but the concept was that there was wonderful farmland owned by the Thuns and the Janssens, and that perhaps by getting together and they could make a contribution to Penn State that would enable Penn State to create a regional campus. And so that idea was proposed, and that's what happened. And here we are in a marvelous facility owned by the Janssens, and actually the summer house of Henry Janssen, and surrounded by land that was jointly owned by our family and the Janssen family. One of the great joys was that the ex-apprentice group together on, I believe it was Mr. Janssens and my grandfather's 80th birthday, gave them, it might have been 75th birthday, gave them a model braider that they had made. A beautiful little model, and it was at Magnatech when I acquired Magnatech from Rockwell. And the question was what to do with it, and frankly what to do with a lot of other industrial archives, because one of the problems is that students in Berks County don't learn the industrial history of the community, and I think that they should. And fortunately Penn State was willing in the library to put an exhibit of some of the machines. Well, when I came back to Reading and Berks County in 1988, when I purchased the braiding machinery business from Rockwell, I was talking with Fred Gage one day, and he said, okay, now that you're back in the community, it's time you get involved. And I said, like, in what? And he said, well, I'd like you to join the advisory board of Penn State Berks. I liked Fred a great deal, respected him, and thought that if there was any way I could be helpful, I'd be delighted to do that. And frankly, quite enjoyed being involved in Penn State Berks at that time as one of the ways to re-enter the community. Fred was a marvelous person. He had a very, very level way of approaching the campus. He had inspiration, and he had a lot of ideas as to where the campus could go. He also had a wonderful relationship at State College, and so we were able to work with Fred to access specific facilities at Penn State. My hope is that Penn State Berks will continue to be a very viable part of the community. One of the things that, if Fred Gage were sitting here, he would tell you that I said, look, my joining the advisory board is contingent on your being willing to organize a consortium of the 4 colleges, because frankly I think that Berks County's business and economic development program could be greatly enhanced by having an academic set of academic institutions that were working closely together. That started in kind of a modest way with some purchasing programs and some simple things. But I think over time that has really gone well. And You think of Raleigh-Durham, you think of the Research Triangle, you think of Pittsburgh and what Carnegie means and some of the other schools. There's an incredible role for academic institutions in the future of their communities. And I hope that Penn State main campus will continue to support the growth of Penn State Berks and encourage it to participate in the broad community.